Breaking news, unprecedented twist in global economies. IMF January 2023 forecasts reveal Britain's lone path towards economic downturn among G7 nations. In a surprising twist, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has just released updated forecasts that are set to spark renewed hope for the United Kingdom's economic prospects. The IMF now expects the UK economy to soar with a projected growth rate of 0.4% in the year 2023. Now the question is whether the UK can maintain its upward trajectory amidst the challenges that lie ahead. But don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and ring the notification bell. The United Kingdom, with its illustrious history as a global economic powerhouse, now finds itself facing unprecedented challenges. The country is grappling with soaring inflation and an energy crisis that has sent shockwaves through businesses and households alike. The impact has been particularly harsh on businesses, pleading for essential financial support to weather the storm as energy bills escalate, placing immense strain on their finances. Although inflation has slightly receded from last year's peak of 11.1% to 7.9% in June, prices continue to rise at a worrying pace, with food prices surging by a staggering 20% compared to the previous year. This has given rise to a cost of living crisis, affecting the day-to-day lives of citizens across the nation. It's evident that the UK is facing significant challenges in its efforts to recover from the aftermath of the pandemic. The UK's historical economic prowess cannot be denied. From its imperial days, the country's influence spanned the globe, leaving a lasting impact on various nations, both economically and culturally. The City of London stands as a testament to the nation's financial might, hosting some of the world's largest and most crucial financial institutions. Furthermore, the British pound sterling, GBP, holds its ground as one of the world's major reserve currencies, alongside the US dollar, euro, and Japanese yen. With an impressive GDP per capita of $46,310, the UK's economic strength is evident. However, despite its size and influence, the country faces the looming spectre of economic contraction. So, what factors are at play? Is it the lingering effects of Brexit, the prolonged impact of the Covid-19 pandemic, the Russian-Ukraine war, or shortcomings in governance? In 2016, the UK held a big vote, asking people if they wanted to leave the European Union, EU. The EU is like a fancy club of 27 countries in Europe, working together on politics and economics. Anyways, the UK decided to leave, and on January 31, 2020, they officially said their goodbyes to the EU. It was a close call, with 52% voting to leave and 48% wanting to stay. But now, more people feel it was a bad choice, but why do they think that? This whole Brexit thing had a huge impact on the UK. It messed with their economy, their trade relationships, and how they do business with other countries. After Brexit, they had to negotiate all these new trade deals, which was no easy task. Figuring out how to keep the good stuff from the old deals while dealing with new rules and borders was tricky and full of uncertainties. One area that took a big hit was their exports to the EU. Even though there were some good trade benefits kept, like no tariffs and quotas, there were new customs and regulations to deal with at the borders. This meant companies had to spend more time and money to meet these new requirements, which wasn't great for them. After Brexit, the numbers showed that their exports to Europe dropped by about 14%. That's a significant drop. Not only that, but their economy took a hit too. Experts estimate that the UK's economy is now 5.5% poorer than it would have been if it had stayed in the EU. Imagine, they could have had about £40 billion more in tax revenues. An independent government body revealed that Brexit caused the UK's economy to shrink by a significant 4%, which translates to a whopping £100 billion per year. That's a lot of money. While business investments were growing in other G7 countries, the UK didn't have the same luck after the Brexit vote. It suffered a major blow, with a staggering £29 billion wiped out in business investments. This slowdown also hit productivity hard, making things tough for businesses and the overall economy. The UK tried to encourage investment with something called the super deduction, offering huge allowances for capital investments. But it didn't quite do the trick to turn things around. Unfortunately, when it comes to forecasting economic growth, the UK finds itself pretty close to the bottom of the league table. After Brexit, the country faced a recruitment crisis, losing many EU workers, leading to shortages in labour, healthcare, hospitality, and agriculture. This has left business owners, investors, and citizens disappointed with the government. Promises were made, but little was delivered, adding to the frustration. To make matters worse, political turmoil in recent years has only made things harder for the economy. It's been a challenging ride for the UK, and finding solutions will take effort and collaboration. In the UK, during the initial stages of the pandemic in 2020, there was a sharp contraction in GDP as lockdown measures were imposed to contain the spread of the virus. Non-essential businesses were closed, travel restrictions were implemented, and consumer spending decreased significantly. During the tumultuous second quarter of 2020, the UK's GDP experienced a staggering plunge, contracting by nearly 20%. This downturn extended throughout the entire year, with a cumulative decline of 9.4%, marking the most severe economic performance among the G7 nations. The services sector, which forms a substantial portion of the UK's economy, was particularly affected, with industries like hospitality, tourism, and entertainment experiencing severe declines in revenue. Additionally, the manufacturing sector faced challenges due to disruptions in supply chains and reduced global demand. The government implemented various fiscal stimulus measures and financial support packages to help businesses and individuals cope with the economic fallout of the pandemic. These measures included grants, furlough schemes, and loan support programs. But that's not it. The world was left reeling as energy prices soared following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the UK took a particularly hard hit. You see, the UK heavily relies on natural gas to generate power, but the problem is they don't have enough storage capacity. So when the energy prices skyrocketed, it hit them right where it hurt. To counter the surging inflation, the Bank of England decided to raise interest rates, hoping to put a brake on the rapid price increases. But despite their efforts, UK prices have continued to climb at an alarming pace. Grocery prices, for instance, shot up by a whopping 17% as of January 2023. Can you believe that? That's a huge jump in the cost of everyday essentials. Adding to the worries, the UK's employment rate hasn't bounced back to pre-pandemic levels. It's been a tough road to recovery, and the number of people in the workforce is declining. That's not a good sign for the country's economic prospects. The approach to tackling inflation involves curbing people's spending, but what does that mean for businesses? Well, if consumers spend less at businesses, it could spell trouble for them too. Reduced spending might lead to job losses, putting a strain on the government's welfare bill and making it harder to achieve the Prime Minister's goal of reducing the national debt. It's like a chain reaction of economic consequences. Moreover, with high interest rates discouraging borrowing, businesses may hesitate to invest in growth. This, in turn, can result in lower economic growth overall. It's a tricky balancing act, trying to control inflation without causing a recession. So what tools does the government have in its arsenal? One quick move they can make is tweaking taxes. By raising taxes, they can discourage certain groups of people from spending more, but that's not a popular choice in the political arena. Prime Minister, Mr. Sunak, has been vocal about his desire to cut taxes, not raise them. So that makes the decision-making process even more complex. It's a challenging situation for policymakers, as they must carefully weigh the impact of their choices on inflation, the economy, and the well-being of citizens. Striking the right balance is crucial, but it's no easy feat. In these uncertain times, a thoughtful and prudent approach is necessary to navigate through the intricacies of economic policy. The government's decisions will play a crucial role in shaping the path ahead, and finding a way to address inflation while fostering economic growth is a delicate task indeed. The UK's journey to overcome these obstacles requires collective efforts and open dialogue, acknowledging the complexities of the situation. While history has shown the nation's resilience, it is now time to identify solutions that will guide the UK towards a brighter economic future. Together, as a united community, it can navigate through these turbulent waters and pave the way for prosperity once more. The fate of the UK economy hangs in the balance, and the world is watching closely.